You see, I have never once regretted a single thing that I have ever done in my entire life. I've done a few good things. I've done some bad things. And I've screwed up a lot. But all the good, all the bad, all the screw-ups, they all make me who I am today. And if I take back any of it, any of the good, the bad, the ugly, like playing blah 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 shit on my armpits, then I'm not being myself. I'm not being David Major. So I don't regret anything I do. And I'm going to give you guys an example of something that's gone on in my life, and exactly why I don't regret anything. I was attempting to become the head sophomore of my residence, which basically meant that I would be the head organizer for all of the incoming students. And I was the favorite. To get this position, I was the favorite. Everybody knew I was the favorite. You know, I had been researching the position for about 6 or 7 months or so. You know, it was a motivational position. I figured I had an inside track. I went out for that interview. I didn't take anything for granted. I put everything I possibly could into that interview. You know, my blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears, everything I possibly could into that interview. And I lost. I lost the spot I was sure I was the best person for. It was such a shock to the people in my residence that my floor actually held a moment of silence for me. And I didn't know what to do. I was heartbroken. Well, it was a few days later, and a second spot opened up. This was to become the head soph over at a different residence. So I said, all right, I'm not giving up now. I'm going to go for it. And I went out for that interview, and I gave everything I possibly could. My blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears, everything I possibly could into that interview. And I lost. For the second time in 4 days, I lost the spot I was sure I was the best person for. Well, it was a few days later, and a third spot opened up. This was to become the head soph over at a different residence. This was the final head soph spot that would be opened up for the entire orientation week. So I said, all right, I'm not giving up now. I'm not giving up. And do you know why? Because this is the exact type of perseverance story you always hear about. You know, first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Aaliyah. Right? And I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for that spot, and I'm going to give everything I possibly can. My blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears, everything I possibly can. Just so I can come here today and tell all of you, right here, right now, that I did it, that I persevered, that I won. But I lost. Thank you for laughing at my pain. I appreciate that. Cruel audience. For the third time in just over a week, I lost the spot I was sure I was the best person for. Well, it was a few days, it was actually about a month later. Spots opened up again. This was to become just the regular sophs, just the regular organizers. It wasn't really, exactly what I wanted, but I said, whatever, I'm going to go for it anyways. I went into that interview. I didn't take anything for granted. I put everything I possibly could into that interview. My blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears, everything I possibly could. And do you guys know what happened because I didn't give up, because I persevered? Do you guys know what happened? I lost all the four! For the fourth time! Thank you for applauding my pain. For the fourth time in just over a month, I lost the spot I was sure I was the best person for. Skip ahead. The next year, it's my second year of university. The spots open up again. So I say, all right, I'm not giving up now. I'm going to try out for a regular soft spot. I went out for that interview. I gave everything I possibly could. I gave my blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears, everything I possibly could. And do you guys know what happened? Because I didn't give up that time. I lost all the time! For the fifth time! We've gone from laughter to sorrow to yay, he lost again! Yay! For the fifth time, I lost the spot I was sure I was the best person for. Well, the next year, it's my third year in university. The spots open up again. And I say to myself, you know what, Dave? We're done. We tried 5 times. If they don't want you by now, forget about it. It's their loss. And then a friend just kind of took me aside, and he said, look, Dave, why did you try out for the spots in the first place? Was it because this was something you wanted to win? You wanted to beat others at it? Or was it because this was something you really wanted to do? You really wanted to get involved. You really wanted to make a difference. And I said, yeah, you know what? I really wanted to get involved. I really wanted to make a difference. So I said, all right, fine. One final time, I'm going to go for it. I went out for that interview. I gave everything I possibly could. Gave my blood, my sweat, my heart, my tears, everything I possibly could. They tell me they're going to post the list Monday at 8 a.m. So I show up around 7:30 a.m. And around 11 a.m. they post the list. And I walked up to that list the same way I had 5 other times. And this was my reaction. Yeah, I had gotten it! 1 for 6, 1 out of 6 times I had actually gotten it. And it felt so amazing. Not because I had beaten others. No, it's okay. You don't have to applaud it. It's over. We've really got the full range of emotions in this room, I would say, over the last 5 minutes. 1 out of 6 times I had actually gotten it. And it felt so amazing. Not because I had beaten others, not because I had won, but because I hadn't given up. Because I persevered. And I got to see that all this, motivational speaking mumbo-jumbo that I've been spewing over the last few years, I got to see that it was actually worthwhile. That it actually made sense. You guys are going to try out for all sorts of things in your life. I mean, you're going to try out for academic things, athletics, relationships. You're not going to try out for relationships. Number 14, step to the podium, please. Unless you're on The Bachelor, you're not trying out for relationships. But you're going to try out for a lot of things. And some of the times you're going to win, but a lot of the times you're going to lose. And that's okay. Because you have to always remember the story of the $20 bill. No matter what those little voices told me, I didn't listen to them. I listened to the big voice right up here that kept telling me I can't. And no matter what you guys try out for, and no matter what other people say about you when you try out, at the end of the day, you always have to be able to motivate yourself.